Hey, yo. Hey.
Yo.
Welcome to episode 22 of the Lifting Ugly podcast that is cooler than the other side of the pillow. Rest in peace to Scott, who used to coin that phrase fairly often on Sports Center. Hey, yo. He's the bad guy. I am not Pioneer lifting belts. That comes later.
That's how you know it's live.
That's right. All of my many fuck ups on this thing. I am now, as you can see, Craig Bird. The man that is now back to the right of me on the screen is none other than.
Hi, Bowkai.
There he
Friends.
is. Friends. Hi, friends.
Hi, friends.
Glad you can join us today, friends.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think we're going to have a lot of people that are going to join us live today. Oh, we have one person. That's fun.
Hello,
one
friend.
person that's either watching us and the King of the North, or is not watching the King of the North at all. Since a lot of our fans are in the North Dakotas and the northern states.
Yeah.
And the King of the North powerlifting meet is going on as we speak,
which is dope.
They tend to be a little bit busy. I was watching a little bit of it, and I think it's cool this way. The lady's announcing and she's telling the guys what plates to put on number one, which is kind of cool.
Do they not have the loading picture on the screen like they usually do?
I'm not sure. I don't know. I can only see you can only see the platform.
Huh.
But the lady's she'll be like 3 reds, a yellow, and 2.5 and a 0.5.
That's weird because usually it's on the screen that's saying who's up next and who passed and failed their attempts. So usually there's like a picture of what you need on the bar for everyone's attempt.
Yeah. Maybe they don't have that.
No. Keeping it old school.
She's announcing what they need, and then apparently they're using nicknames, which is also fun.
Ooh.
Yeah, so
that's
there's
nifty. What would your nickname be?
I don't know. Jim Daddy.
Yeah. I'll take that.
So they had one guy was Mr. Tie-Dye. I just heard she announced well, first she said Mr. Tie-Dye's in the hole, and I thought that was a little personal information.
That is, they really
needed.
I didn't even know that, but thanks, Tie-Dye guy.
And so I wanted to wait and see why they called Mr. Tie-Dye Mr. Tie-Dye. Needless to say, it's because he had a tie-dye shirt and a tie-dye headband on.
Oh, that makes sense.
And our friend Austin Hudson Byler was Austin the Machine.
Oh, I mean, that is something that works well for him.
It was unfortunate because anyone who follows him, if you don't, you should follow him because he's a crazy ass lifter that is very
nice
lightweight. He was it 2 weeks ago. He hit 700 on his squat.
Yeah,
pretty flawlessly.
Yeah.
And he went for the one I did see him attempt on here was 701, and he dipped and then lost it.
Oh, what was
I don't attempt? I think that was his second. I'm not sure what. I don't know if he tried it again, and I was busy. I cut loose and did my own thing for a little while.
I cut loose.
But anyway, yeah, we got a lot of our people are there. Ethan's competing. I know that.
Nice.
Austin, Blessed is out there running.
Blessed, yeah.
So we got some of our peeps out in North Dakota.
Where are they hosting it?
It's at like a hockey rink.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
So it's all it's like smooth concrete floor.
Yeah.
And just a big giant arena. From things I've seen, they have like a bump and jump, and then kind of their sponsor booths with like supplements and stuff like that.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
One of those those like punching bag games set up.
Yeah.
Yeah, some cool shit.
That's dope.
Yeah. So it's I guess sponsored by Pitt Strength.
Yeah.
But
I'm surprised it's not there then.
I think they wanted a bigger venue so they could get more spectators and everything in there.
Fair enough.
Anyway, so how's everything going for you in your neck of the beach?
Good. Training was good this week. Like, started off really good. Bench was awesome. Deads were great. But I think deads kind of kicked my teeth in ever so slightly. After the 630 pull was fine, but it was that 600 double deficit that totally just blew the floodgates open. So I popped a little blood vessel in my eye, which is always exciting. And my hands were all swollen the next day. Like, my back is still toasted. My hamstrings are still toasted. So I tried to get in my squats in yesterday, and it just was not happening. So we're taking a deload next week. That's for damn sure.
Nice.
Definitely need it. My body's toasted. And then just being at work last night too, like my ankles and my hips just from moving around so much are no bueno.
Being on your feet constantly.
Yeah, no, they give me a promotion at work, so I'm moving around a lot more. So I got a lot more steps in. Put it that way.
All right. The big man's moving up in the world. Attaboy.
Yep. We're doing big things.
Big things in the bar world for you.
I know, right? Super exciting. Super duper exciting.
So it's funny because I went to do squats on Monday.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember when. It was later in the day, and my legs just felt so heavy. And it just didn't feel right. So I'm like, screw it. I'm just gonna go home. I'll do it tomorrow. I have a little bit more time. I can take care of it. So I went home and put my space pants on so I could get the circulation and the swelling moved out.
Space pants, yeah.
I was like, this should help. And I go in Tuesday and it was like the same thing. I couldn't get it to work right. So I was like, well, I guess this just isn't my week for squats. I'm not going to force the issue.
No.
And just kind of did some light legs and bench moved. It was pretty good. I did a couple sets of 2 at 405.
Nice.
Before everything kind of locked out, and then I lightened up and was able to do some narrow for tricep work, and so it wasn't too bad. And then today, my deadlift day.
Yeah,
I told you I was gonna go for 675 just to go for it.
Mm-hmm.
And that shit moved.
It did. I seen it this morning.
I was super excited, and I have that 7. That 7 is there.
It'll happen. Just give it like another couple of weeks.
Yeah, it just my hands at that point. I have you can't see it, but calluses started ripping off, and just peeled my fingers open. I was like, no. I was like, the power was there.
You just gotta before you pull, just like grind your calluses on one of the on the Ohio bar or the West Side bar.
Just grind some of the excess off
a little bit, because right now my issue is my pinky. Like this guy right here in the middle digit, it's been tearing every single time, and it's not recuperating. So it'll bleed during bench, it'll bleed during squats, it'll bleed during pulls. Like it's just not, it's not going away.
You need to get yourself some
lotion my hands.
You need to get some lifting gloves.
You're right. I need to be more conscious of what my hands are doing. My poor fingers are super destroyed.
You just cut it off.
You
can live without your pinky. I don't know.
Or they mentioned
there's a lot
in general.
No, but then you can't deadlift.
I can't do
bench.
All right.
Yeah.
Hands-free SSB squats.
Yeah. That'd be fun.
My nubs holding the handles down.
Then you would be you'd be able to be a video that everyone would post everywhere and be like, "What's your excuse? He's doing it with no hands.
That's like someone climbs Everest with one leg. Well, it's like, yeah, they only had to use one leg, not both.
I know.
So like
this guy's
yourself.
a hero. This guy's a hero. He's a double amputee and ran a marathon. It's like, well, yeah, his legs don't get tired. He's a double amputee. It's not even fair. It's like this bullshit statement.
I put robot arms on my body, and now I can bench press more. Like,
I know. It's like, what a hero.
We're gonna stir some pots with this one.
That's all right. It's always been. They're like, oh my gosh, can you believe that they did that? And I'm like, well, yeah, I can believe it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. It's like the midgets or the dwarfs that like squat, and it's like, all right, come on,
God, yeah.
The range of motion is like this much. Like, cool. I'm glad that you do it. By all means, don't stop. Keep it up. But let's be realistic here. Like, range of motion is everything, and so you have a big barrel chest, and you can just beep.
Yeah.
Your bench should be pretty killer. Your squat should be pretty dope because your ass touches the ground already.
Oh yeah, I know there's one dude who lifts for Westside who's on the shorter end, and I'm pretty sure he's a multiply dude too. So watching him squat in like this little baby multiply suit is the cutest shit. Like they gave him a little suit, like.
But I mean, that has to be custom made, right? I mean, it's not like they're producing, a kid's medium multiply suit for
the baby
for someone to
multiply.
Yeah, and there's not really I can't imagine there's enough of a market to produce more than one for this guy.
So you're saying there isn't a huge niche for multiply midget powerlifting?
Not that I can see. I mean, maybe there is, and maybe it's just a world I haven't ventured into yet.
Oh man.
Yeah. So anyway. So I'll get 7 sooner than later. And I'm super psyched about it. The 675 was cool. I give full credit to the superpowers I have gotten by using the lifting belt from our friends. Now we can go to now this thing's like jumping all over the place.
Pimp them out.
Pioneer lifting belt. My Pioneer lifting belt gave me superpowers. I was able to jump. I was at 635 that I was comfortable doing for way too long. 40-pound increase in my deadlift. Thanks to our friends at Pioneer Lifting Belts, GeneralLeathercraft.com. The belt did it. I give full credit. My Mark Bell belt just didn't fucking do it for me.
Sorry, man.
It had me stuck. It was the ride was fun while it lasted, but Pioneer Lifting Belt is what put it over the top.
Yep.
So for all of you that are looking for lifting belts, even if you're not looking for a lifting belt, you should be, because you should go to GeneralLeathercraft.com and get yourself a nice custom belt, a nice Pioneer cut belt with all the nice half-inch in between notches.
Notches, baby. Notches.
Or if you don't have a lot of money or you're just kind of cheap, you can just get a regular Pioneer lifting belt and you'll still see the power, feel the power within you.
Still be fantastic.
Right. And then while you're there, what are other things that they should get while they're there?
You can get shirts. You can get wrist wraps. You can get knee wraps. You can get a wallet, which I think they're pretty nifty, or get a nice little collar for your dog. Right. You're looking pretty sweet too.
Yep. Fido will be the dopest dog in town with a Pioneer lifting collar.
Yeah, Pioneer lifting collar. Or on your significant other, whatever helps.
Whatever floats your boat. I don't judge. I'm not here to judge
either. Just send videos. That's
Actually, we do judge a lot on here. I guess we do a lot of judging.
Talking shit.
Well, there you go. But if you decide to wear the Pioneer dog collar on yourself or your significant other, please send pics to Alkai at Pico_powerlifting or at Bellies_out_benching. And that way he can share them with me later.
Yeah, my spank bank's getting low, folks. I need you guys to re-up it for me.
That's right. Step your game up.
Yeah, I want adults in dog collars. Bring them in. Bring them in.
That's right. It's lacking.
It is.
Let's keep this going, people.
So
All right, and then our talk with Pioneer Lifting brings me to. Did you watch my video about the announcements that I have? I have announcements.
I sort of watched them. I want you to refresh them for me.
I didn't actually say what the announcements were. I just said that if people want to know, if they want to know what the announcements are, they have to watch them here, or wait till after the podcast is up, and then I'll post it all about it anyway. But our friends, our boys, our girls from Pioneer Lifting Belts. This is what we're doing.
Oh,
so as you know, and if anyone listening doesn't know, we are sponsoring Crown Mountain Strongman Championship on May 7th. The Be Strong Classic in Denver on June 4th. The Black Hills Classic in South Dakota on June 11th. What we are going to do with our friends from Pioneer Lifting is we are going to have a drawing with the competitors of all three events, and the winner will get a custom Lifting Ugly belt.
Oh. Ooh.
Right? They can pick the colors, obviously the size to fit them. But yeah, customized for them. Like I said, any color combination they want. Yeah. So I just got confirmation actually about 10 minutes before I posted that video.
Nice.
From our friends there at Pioneer Lifting that they are willing to help us out with that to make that a possibility.
That's badass.
Yeah. It's just more ways and proof that when Matt was on here and he said that their goal is to give back to the people that give to them.
Yeah.
He's not, that wasn't a line of bullshit.
No, that's real stuff.
That was no fun. So, and that's our goal as well, which is why we're putting forth the efforts we are to make sure we can give back. So that's one of the things I thought about and tried to link up with them to be able to provide, just something a little bit extra on top of the cash prizes that I'm going to be putting forth towards all three of those events, as well as other prize packages, as well as most likely I will also be getting some supplements from Insane Labs that will also be distributed to the overall winners of each event. So
you got all kinds of goodies.
Yeah, I'm trying to hook up from as many people as I can that are willing to help out and help those lifters out. So that'd be really fun. So I'll have that. Yep. So after that last meet, I'll just kind of do a little drawing and see who comes out on top.
Ooh.
And then we'll hook it up from there.
I like that. Give him back. I love that.
Love Pioneer Lifting. Love these guys. They're the best. Best quality, best product, and the best motherfuckers around.
Truly. I dig it. Love it.
Also, one of the other announcements. Excuse me, I'm a little kerplempt here.
Little horse.
I'm a little horse. One of the other announcements I have is that we will be having. It just keeps going this way. I'm going to pull for power lifters here pretty soon. Going to work on that, but it seems like the strong people are really easy to get a hold of. They're really easy to get a hold of and really easy to talk to. So I'm thinking next week, if I can line it out properly, we will be having Gabby Bergholzer. She is America's 2020-2021 America's Strongest Woman.
Oh, wow.
And she was a competitor at the Arnold here a few weeks ago. So
love that.
I asked her if she'd come on, and she said she was down. And I was like, "Are you sure? We're kind of retarded."
Yeah,
and she said, stupid. And she's like, "Nope, that's cool. I'm with it." So we're just trying to finalize a time.
Yeah.
And so hopefully we'll be able to have her on by next week. So that's another
That would be
thing.
badass.
Yeah.
I love that. Oh, so many famous peoples.
Get the female version of what goes down in the strong people world.
That would be an interesting perspective to get a hold of, and I'm excited to hear about that.
Yep. So make sure you go. So check her out. Let's see. Her Instagram is Gabby_ the Austrian Oaktress.
Oh, Oaktress.
Yes. Because Arnold Schwarzenegger took the Austrian oak.
Oh.
So, but she has she has a pretty crazy pull-up video where she's doing pull-up claps.
Jesus.
Yeah, right. With a big, giant, just impressive back. But,
making me jealous.
Yeah. I'm like, I know I can do pull-ups. That's about all I know I can do.
Yeah. I did 5 not too long ago.
Sweet.
Well, technically it was 10, but the last like 3 or 4 kind of sucked. So we'll call it a good 5.
A solid 5.
A solid 5.
And an attempted other 5.
Mm-hmm. It's hard.
It's not bad
when you're heavy.
It's hard out there. It's hard out there for a pimp.
For a pimp.
For a pimp.
With no women.
A woman, a holeless pimp.
A holeless pimp.
So everyone, make sure that you can get a hold of us and follow us and all of the things that we do and updates and whatnot at lifting_ugly. You can search Lift Ugly or Lifting Ugly wherever you might desire. And we also have, did you know, we also have a website? Whoa. We do. It is liftingugly.com.
Mm-hmm.
And I was checking there today, and I had 3 sessions on liftingugly.com today. All 3 were from China.
What the hell?
Right. We're trying to, we had Russian listeners on the podcast. Now we're getting the Chinese people on the website. Are you fans, people from China, or are you trying to infiltrate our business?
Ooh.
Or are you trying to see what your kids are making for us?
Oh.
Trying to see what your 6-year-olds are actually up to.
Yeah.
Their hard work. Their hard work is going into making this hat, this shirt, your hat, these banners, all available at liftingugly.com.
God bless child labor.
That's right. It keeps things somewhat affordable.
Yeah.
And so based on a discussion we had last week, so the discussion we had last week, as well as being able to find tank tops that are in stock. So
at 3X as well.
Yes, and actually these ones do go up to 3X.
Oh.
They are tank tops that are available. Uh-huh. So we will have the Lifting Ugly tank top. Watch this. Wait. Oh. It gets better.
Oh.
What would Jack Jesus do?
What would Jack Jesus do? I love that. I'm glad that's a thing. That's your Sunday shirt right there.
That's right. Hashtag WWJJD.
Or if you want to take it to the next level, what would Juice Jesus do?
Juice Jesus. You pick your poison on which direction you want to go with that.
Mm-hmm. But he turns your water to Diana ball.
If only. That's all I would end up drinking.
Yeah. Just a streamline.
Praise Jeebus.
Praise Juice Jeebus.
Hey,
right, hi Seth. Good to see you.
Seth. So, other news I got for you, and Seth, since Seth's on. I am going to be able to print on some singlets.
Oh, you shut your dirty mouth.
Yes.
Oh, it's
So,
time. Oh, that's so exciting.
So
Oh my
I'm
God.
gonna. I know Seth said he wants one, so I'm gonna get one done and get one out to Seth for his bar benders in June, as well
Ooh.
as I'll have some for the two girls in for the Black Hills Classic as well.
Yep,
We'll be
yep.
sporting some Lifting Ugly singlets, and then whenever I don't know. If I can get that 700 dead, then I will then look at a competition and doing a meet. So
Ooh.
yeah. So then whenever you are able to do yours, well, I'll be sporting the Lifting Ugly singlets.
They haven't posted a date yet.
And maybe a little monumental powerlifting on the leg.
Oh, little dinosaur action.
Row. A little row.
All we need are singlets and deadlift socks. That's it.
Yeah, the socks are tending to be a little bit tougher to come across, which you would think might be one of the easier things to find, but
yeah,
man, is it just ridiculously hard to try and find socks to print on.
Huh.
Hey, do you think anyone out there might be interested in supporting our podcast with monetary funds?
I hope so.
If so,
tell them how.
they can I will. You can do so. Monthly support by going to patreon.com/lifting ugly. You can go check out the different tiered pricing that we have there, the things that we offer in return for your patronage and whatnot. Or if you would like a one-time donation and you want to buy some cool shit from the website, you can go to liftingugly.com and there is a section available where you can do a one-time donation, which in all honesty at this point is all just going to get turned around and put back into competitors. So
I mean, help me the lifters out.
Help us to help you. We're in this community together.
Yeah. Or just put in a large order online.
Right. You can do that too. And then that helps slowly build up that bank that I can then push back in, and I can use less of my own money that I get from other things I do.
Yes.
So that would be nice. It's not needed. I can find a way, and I will find a way.
Yep.
But anything is always appreciated. I want to give back to you guys who work so hard and train so hard.
Yep.
And put on the show that we love to see.
Yeah. In our clothing.
In our clothing as well. That's right. I love seeing the videos and everything posted.
Oh yeah.
I just come across those and I'm like, hey, that's our shirt.
I know those.
I seen that before. Hey, speaking of,
what's up?
I was gonna say one of our levels is a Gymshark level.
Oh.
And the inspired person for Gymshark level.
Oh, where is he?
He's back. He came back this week.
Wow.
So good old Mr. Sam Adamson is
good
actually
old
here.
Mr. Sam.
He's here in the gym right now as we speak.
Oh wow.
He's on his spring break from his schooling activities.
Well, it's good to hear that name again. I miss that guy.
Yes, he is the funnest goofball that one of the funnest goofballs we have here at the gym, who is now doing Olympic lifting.
Yeah, not his that fucking guy, man. Whatever.
Always on to new different things. He's
gets minorly injured once, completely switches sports.
Right. To one that will probably make it worse.
I mean, that's what happens when you jerk off hook grip, man. It's not good for you.
Yeah, but you got to practice. I mean, I found if you just try and go straight into hook grip, it's a little painful.
That's
you have to make those the graduations. You got to start somewhere.
The small wins first.
Yeah. It's praise small victories.
Yeah. Small,
very small victories.
Very small.
Oh, I guess I forgot. And all this excitement and all of our new new things going on and new announcements.
Yes.
I have to tell people that I am coming to you from Western Colorado,
Oh.
Grand Junction to be specific, from the gym called Monument Fitness. You can see us at monument.fitness on Instagram, and I might post something. I might not, but I might. You can at least see some stuff there. Just kind of depends. And if you are ever in the area and you just go ahead and hit me up and I'll get you in and you can get a workout in here and see what the hubbub is all about.
It's worth it, friends.
If you come in at the right time, we now have we'll call them a gaggle of nerds that now lift here on a regular basis, thanks to our friend Wyatt.
Oh, did he bring all of his piano friends in?
Better than piano friends.
Oh, are they Dungeons and Dragons warriors?
They are Dungeons and Dragons warriors.
Yeah. Roll the dice, man. Roll the dice.
So the D&D nerds come in full effect.
Hey, you know what? They're lifting. That's all.
I'm not upset about it. I was like, hey, by all means, bring all the nerds you got. I mean, we're all nerds in one way or another, right?
Yep. I mean, yeah. Yeah. That shit gets heated. I've heard Keenan scream at his friends over it.
Are you really? That's so funny.
Oh my god, yeah.
I can't remember. So last night somebody was asking about it. They're like, they're like, what is it like? And I had like a little brief explanation. And then one of Wyatt's friends was walking in because they were doing yoke carries outside. He comes in, he's like, wait, what are you talking about? And I was like, he was asking about Dungeons and Dragons.
Heard it. His antenna was like,
his little nerdy sense started tingling, and he was like, someone's talking D&D. So he gave a rundown of what it's all about. But it sounds like they got a pretty serious thing. He writes his own campaigns and and goes for it.
That's glad. Do you see Seth?
Yeah. So two of our three people that are on watching us live are all about the D&D nerds coming through.
Hey, you know what? Seth's got a 730 squat, so he can roll dice whatever he wants.
You know what? And to be fair, I call them D&D nerds, but in all fairness, we're all nerds in some way or another.
Oh yeah.
I just never did the Dungeons and Dragons thing, but there are definitely a lot of other things I'm super nerdy about.
More like the dragons and drag queens.
Dragons and drag queens nerds. So we're infiltrated. We've been.
Hey, you know what? Let's make the nerds buff. Let's make them big. And you know, Wyatt will be their little cult leader, so it's perfect.
Oh, he is. Oh, you've got to see it. He is. It's the funniest thing ever. It's just like he walks in, and then it's just like this. Like I said, it's like this gaggle of nerds that follows behind him.
You know, he's all amped about it too. He's like,
oh yeah, he's the leader. He's the leader of something.
Fearless leader.
He's not following anyone.
No, he's just doing his own thing.
So Seth has a super strong roll.
Yeah, he knows how to like
a 730 squat and just an
absolute buttery roll of the wrist with that 20-sided die.
Is that what it is at 20?
Buttery, I think so.
Buttery. I know it's a lot. It's a lot of sides.
Anything over 5, I lose count.
Yeah, I'm used to 4.
Mm-hmm.
There's more than that. It gets a little complicated. So anyway, pretty funny. It's if you make your way back here, you'll have to experience. It's a whole new thing because you'll have. So like I was here. I was finishing up with Nicole, and I was actually going to lift last night, but then the D&D took over the platform, and so you had Jack and Jordan outside throwing bags. You had the group of nerds running yoke, and then on the deadlift platform, and just the contrast, but everyone's doing the same thing, like contrast in people. but like everyone's doing the same thing. So
all united.
Yes.
All united by lifting. I love that.
That's right. So that's the main part. Everyone's here doing, they've got their purpose. And
should you make a D&D shirt?
It's looking like I probably should.
Like a Dungeons and Deadlifts, or like
Oh, that's killer. That would be I like that idea.
Think about it.
We'll have to see what we can put together there.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
That'll be I'd buy it.
Dungeons and D&D.
Yeah.
Living the D&D life, the Dungeons and Deadlifts.
Heavy D.
The heavy on the D and heavy on the D.
I love that.
Heavier and heavier.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good idea. I'm liking that. So, you Dungeons and Dragons fans out there, you got to tell us what you think.
Oh yes.
I do things that like make me giggle and make me laugh, and but that doesn't mean that it works for everybody. So,
but I mean, if you got 6 D&D dudes and Seth and whoever else, like,
right.
we should be able to sell some shirts out of that.
That's right, and just start a cult within a cult.
Mm-hmm. I'm about it.
Yeah.
Sign me up.
That'd be pretty sweet. All right. Well, let me have to see what I can come up with as far as the look of
Dungeon and D-ball. Did you see that comment? You just come up with just a bunch of them.
Yeah, just have like a whole D&D section on the website.
Oh dear God, yeah.
Just dungeons and whatever, or whatever, and dragons.
Yep.
D-ball and dragons.
Dungeons and D-ball.
Deca and dragons.
Or D&D, just Deca and D-ball.
Life's combination.
Yeah. Roll the dice.
Oh, gotta love it. All right. So yeah. So anyway, nerds aplenty. Love it.
Mm-hmm.
Glad everyone, I gotta hand it to Wyatt. He's getting these guys off the couch and out of their own little dungeons and getting them out and getting them working. So I mean, there's a lot to be said to that. Yeah, there's a lot to be said about that. So I am stoked about that. All right, so it's apparently gonna have to happen. All right, so lifting ugly face of the week. We had submissions this week, which was great. Finally.
Yep.
Finally. It seems like we'll have like a large amount of submissions, and then we'll have like just this lull where it's like, and everyone just kind of craps out on it. So we did have some submissions, and let's see. The winner was, it's not biased, I promise, Salina Vega at Misfit and Strong on it. It's not, I promise it's not biased. She had like 26 votes.
Yeah.
Coming in second was the lady. I guess I should call her a lady. She's a girl to me, but a lady in general. What's her name? We'll let you.
Claire.
You have it. Claire.
Mm-hmm.
And she is a doctor, you say?
She is she has an MS. Yes, and she's a strength coach. She is probably one of the smartest fucking human beings that I've ever talked to. Her and her boyfriend Cody are two incredibly smart and strong people. Good to have around.
She had a great face, but Salina did come up with more votes.
Hey, it happens.
But I'm not going to send her
Claire gently.
In all actuality, I'm going to send her a code because Salina's already gotten enough. She doesn't. She gets the win, but nothing on top of it.
That's fair.
And so I'll give Claire the discount as a runner-up.
So when I see her next time, I'll let her know.
Yeah,
it'd be cool because like she's actually, I mean, they'll go around and do seminars and whatnot around the country. So if they could be wearing one of our shirts while they do it, or just something like that, because she owns I don't think she owns it, but she either works for or owns a company called Barbell Medicine, and they're quite large in the following of the Instagram followers. So it would be cool to have them rep our stuff a little bit. And she just got second at the Arnold, which is huge. So
Who do we know who got first at the Arnold?
Oh my goodness!
Just out of curiosity.
Oh my god! For her weight class, I'm gonna have to look it up. I can't remember.
So do you see her at the gym? Is that when you?
Oh
see
yeah,
her?
yeah, all the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
So ask her if she wants to come on and be a guest.
Oh, okay. I can do that.
So that way everyone can take advantage
Mm-hmm.
of her wisdom and insight.
Oh yes. I'll see if I can get her and Cody on because they're insane, man. They're
that would be
great.
Sweet.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, Salina wins face of the week. It was a good face. It was a throwback face, but it was still good.
Yeah.
We did have the women came in strong this week, and so I was happy to see that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Maria always has a great face.
Yep.
And that was actually, I had to cut it down because you couldn't see any, but there was a side-by-side face. There was a squat face and a deadlift face simultaneous. But I had to cut them otherwise you wouldn't be able to see anything.
That's fair.
It was a nifty little picture, I must say.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's exciting.
It is. So as we go along, so what kind of made me think about what to talk about today was as I approached my deadlifts today, I went a little bit different on my pull than I normally do.
Okay.
So normally the way I've been is I go over the bar a little bit more.
Yeah.
I go over the bar and I'm standing and pulling up. And so this time I was like, well, I'm going to try kind of see what I generate. And it could have had, I'll give it some credit to it actually, I think it helped things move a little bit smoother without as much of the leg shake as I sat back into it and was pulling. So that way I was pulling more back as I was standing up and not pulling straight up.
Yeah.
And so that little change and just sitting more into it seemed to kind of help generate a little bit more off of the ground for me.
Oh yeah, so I mean, you're sitting in a better position. Your shoulder blades are a little bit farther back. The way I see it was like with your other pulls, I think the shaking was coming from your hamstrings because it was more of a straight leg deadlift style,
right?
Where instead of like sitting back in your position, letting your lateral shoulder sit back a little bit, have your shoulder blades behind the bar. Loading that up, like loading up pressure in that position and pulling from there. I mean, I think you're gonna have a lot more success from that cocked back position, and your hamstrings and your lower back are gonna chill out just a little bit.
Right, and it was one of those things. I went to the other. I kind of got comfortable in the other way, just because then I didn't have to worry about my knees, kind of bending at my knees so much. I didn't have to worry about the pain in my knees developing. And realistically, while I didn't really bend my knees anymore, I just basically got to the bar and just kind of leaned just ever so slightly back off of it. So I didn't, really the positioning didn't feel a whole lot different, but as soon as I started to pull, it definitely felt like it moved a lot smoother, even on my lower end.
Yeah.
So, which then got me to think, as I was doing it, I started from when I first started my warm up. So 135 and moving all the way up. Yeah. I started kind of going back into it. And so my thought process is, okay, so if I'm going to change the technique with which I approach my deadlift, I need to have it be to where I think about it less. So if I hit, 10 reps leading up to my top one, then when I get to my top one, it'll feel a little more natural than having to think, okay, am I back? Am I doing this? Am I doing this? Yeah. And then the next thing you've overthought your entire lifts.
Yeah, totally. With your warm-ups, so like let's say your top set is 675 that day. What are your warm-ups consisting of, like reps wise?
So usually I just start with like 135 for. I didn't want to overdo it this time, so I cut down the amount of reps I was doing. Like I did 5 or 6 at 135.
Yeah.
I did 3, I think, at 225.
Yeah.
And then I just singled them from 315 up.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah. That's generally about what I do.
Yeah, because I found it because before I was doing like 8 at 135 and I do 5 at 225 and I do 3 at 315. And then I don't know that it was really exhausting me too much, but I was like, if I'm going to try and pull 40 pounds heavier than what I've done before, I definitely want to make sure I have enough that I'm warm, one, but that I also have enough gas in the tank to give me my best shot going into it.
Oh yeah, no, of course. I generally do the same. So I'll do all my regular warm-up stuff, stretch, and then I'll use the bar for like a set of 15 on RDLs. And then we have all calibrated plates. So I'll do 155 for probably a set of 5. And then I'll do 265 for a set of 3. And then 375 for a set of 1 without a belt. And then depending on how high I'm going, I'll generally throw on a belt then. So I'll do 375 with no belt, double overhand. And then I'll do the 375 again with the belt with the mixed grip so I can get my elbow warmed up for the heavier weights. And then I'll head right to 495. And then anything in between, I'll start with smaller plates. But yeah, it's crazy how much those warm-ups can either just absolutely blow you out or just completely make the day for you. I mean,
right. So you have to find that. You have to find that.
So.
Right. Yeah. Well, yeah. You have to find the meeting because you want to make sure that everything's firing properly.
Oh yeah, totally.
You have to make sure the connections are being made, and that you're not going to, that obviously the blood flow is going the way it's supposed to be going. So I start with like leg curls beforehand, and then all my active stretching stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't throw a belt on until 585.
Oh, nice.
And so my only belt action was the 585, the 675, and then my attempt at 7.
Oh, there you go.
And so it felt pretty good. And like I said, my back, it is uncomfortable right now, but it's not completely wrecked. So
that's good.
I feel really good about it. I like the change. I've adjusted my squat, the stance. I came in a little bit. So my stance is a little more in from where it was, and then I have my toes out more than what they were.
Yeah.
And overall, it seems to kind of help as far as I'm more looking for something that makes it less painful on my knees.
Oh yeah, totally.
As I'm going into it, and that seems to kind of take a little of the pressure out.
Well, I mean, your hip flexors will move a little bit more, and then you can sit into your heels a little bit more and stretch out your hamstrings instead of allowing your toes to come forward. So keeping that knee angle like relatively in line with your ankle and sitting back a little bit more. So kind of how I squat. So like you're not really like, it's not a knees forward squat whatsoever. You're really sitting back in your hamstrings, spreading your glutes, opening your taint, and sitting into your heels a lot more, making sure that knee angle is in line with that ankle.
Let whatever happens happen.
Yes, but mostly the taint spreading.
That's right. Let it happen. In all honesty, if you don't feel it happen, then most likely you didn't hit your depth, is what I found.
Yeah.
Like as stupid as it sounds, it's like you can tell because like you get that opening up as soon as you hit that depth. And it's like, okay, that's it. Now I can come back in.
Oh, 100%. I mean, like I hate saying the term push your knees out because if you're really pushing outside on your knees while you're squatting, you're going to feel pain. But it's like
it's like spring-loaded thing.
Yeah, so you're slightly, what am I trying to say? You're like slightly rotating your ankles out and sitting into your hamstrings a little bit more. So I like the term sitting back more than opening your knees. But yeah, that feeling of like you can feel your gooch opening ever so slightly. Like I feel very exposed when I'm in the hole. If that.
Yeah. And so does
that makes sense.
It makes sense on a lot of levels.
I don't want a rear spotter. I want 2 side spotters.
Is there? Have you like the videos where they're like, "This is how you spot someone on squat," and when they get down, it's like, bam, just one right in the old pooper to get him to stand right back up. I don't
also,
think
if you're willing to stick your thumb in my keister while I've been squatting for an hour, like, power to you. But I don't necessarily want a finger in my butt when I'm squirting. Not
and
really
yeah, not only that, they've got to think about their thumb health.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know why you want to do that to yourself. There's some heavy disinfecting after.
You've got to live with that thumb after, not me.
Oh yeah, you're gonna sit there in the corner and go,
like, what is that?
What is that stink?
You're like, is this amazing or is this terrible? I can't decide.
God, I hate it. I'm rubbing it in my mustache, though, I hate it.
So when it comes to changing, and this is kind of other things I was thinking, because there's always adjustments we need to make. Either like injuries cause us to make adjustments, plateaus, sticking points cause us to make adjustments, and how we approach our technique. Yep. I've done it with bench as far as my hand positioning goes to try and take pressure off the shoulders, all that kind of stuff. My suggestion would be, by all means, do it. Find what works is what's most comfortable for you and what helps your range of motion, but don't, especially bench and squat, don't do it when you're going on your heavy days, like your heavy top sets.
Yeah.
Unless you're comfortable during your warm-ups. Like if you adjust and you're doing your adjustment during your warm-ups and everything feels really good and you're able to get the movement and everything you're supposed to be doing, then, like with my deadlift today, everything felt like it was clicking. And so I was like, okay, well, I feel like I can hit this with this technique without an issue. And it was able to work. But I've also had on squat where I'm like, okay, well, this feels good, but I don't want to push it. I want to work this through and get used to this feeling before I go to a heavier set.
Well, then also understanding, like, you're going to make that adjustment more often than not, your top set's going to be lower than what you're used to because you're in a different plane of motion. You're in a different plane of mechanics. Like, I mean, you can't just go from, like, when I first started working with Seth, perfect example, like, I had a narrower stance, and with how long my legs, or like with how long my femurs are, my distance traveled was super far, and I was bottoming out way too much. So we took time after my main squats were done to widen out. He taught me how to sit back, all this kinds of stuff, blah, blah, blah. But the next few weeks, it definitely altered my top sets just because you're not going to be used to, like, if you're a quad dominant squatter, you're not going to immediately, I mean, I don't want to say pick up because that's not fair, but like, you're not going to be able to get right to where you were until you learn how to pack your hips, until you learn how to pack your glutes, your hamstrings. So until all that is acclimated to the weight that you're usually doing, it's going to take a bit. So if you're okay with taking a step back, using the mechanics that obviously your body is craving for, which I'm a huge proponent about, just know that your numbers are going to be adjusted for a little bit. And then, even if I always suggest the smallest increments at a time. So for squats, I didn't go from just, that narrower stance right to wide to where I squat. Now I played around with it. So I took that whole next, week or so, I moved it out by an inch, and then moved it out by an inch, and then moved my toe angle out by an inch. Then I moved my toe angle in by an inch. Like, it was just, be okay with taking more times on your warm up to get that stance down, so that when you finally get to it, you're fully cognizant of where you need to be. And that goes down to what, practicing your walkouts, how are you unracking the bar, how many steps are you taking? Like, literally, like, so what I noticed, as I got wider, my walkouts got harder, especially when it came from, doing maximum weight. You have to walk out and then get into your wide stance and then settle. And then when the squat is done, getting that inside leg back in underneath your shoulder before you walk it back to the rack. So to me, it's not just getting used to that different stance. There's a lot more things that go into it. You're bracing, the walkout, your first steps back, loading your hamstrings, all that kinds of shit. So obviously find what works best for you, but know that it's going to take a little bit of time to get used to it. Same thing goes for, I never really fucked around with my deadlift too much. And I've played around with sumo a little bit, but my biggest issue with that, if I have my belt on, I can't get my palms up hand to the bar to save my goddamn life because of my stomach. So when I start pulling the bar and coming up, I get this weird helicopter motion. So like if I were to ever pull sumo, I need to get used to pulling hook grip, but I don't want to pull hook grip or pull sumo. So I'm not too worried about it. It was more so for conventional. I've always had a narrow stance. That's never changed. But getting used to where your hand needs to be. So as I've gotten wider in my upper back, you're going to need to make adjustments. So as your lats get bigger, it's going to push your arms out a little bit more. So I started off years ago with my narrow stance and my hands being right on the knurling where it breaks to the smooth part. But now I have to keep it almost a full thumb's length apart. So know that obviously the wider you go, the more lats going to be involved with your pull. So again, that's just another thing over time you have to get used to. But I'd say the biggest one for me, whether I'm fluctuating weight, whether I'm changing my hand stance, bench has always been the one that's kind of been a huge wild card. It's my best lift, but it also takes the most damage when I either cut weight or gain weight. So obviously with gaining weight, the bench is going to be easier. Your distance traveled is shorter because you have more of a tummy on you. You have more to brace. And as I've gotten, when I lose weight, my distance traveled is farther. So I have to have more of a tuck so that my distance travel relatively stays the same. Because once I start breaking a certain plane of motion, my shoulder's going to start killing me. You know exactly what I'm talking about. And then adjusting handstands too. Like don't ever, in my opinion, don't ever jump more than a finger at a time because then you're going to start, I don't know. You can feel the difference when you go from, even when I first, my first meet, my pinky was on the knurling break. And even just shifting over to my ring finger took a good couple of months to get fully used to, whether it was the range of motion, the more chest dominance because of the narrower stance. Obviously, you're going to get a lot more tricep. Getting used to having a more chest dominant bench. Even getting used to like the stretching in your anterior shoulder from your distance travel being a little bit farther, your spot landing being a little bit different. So all the little things you need to take into account for, not just, is this stance comfortable? Is this stance pertinent to you getting the numbers that you need to get while alleviating injury?
Right. And so kind of in what you were explaining, every movement, whether it's a movement out, a movement in, an angle that you take, every time you do that, you're changing where the primary force is going in your body. Mm-hmm. Your primary moving force is changing. So most of the time, your primary moving force has to adjust, and your body has to get used to that being the case. And that's what takes the time. And that's where your patience has to come in, is because it's like, hey, for your own personal greater good.
Yep.
What are you going to do? You need to make these adjustments so that you can survive longer and not have these injuries, nagging injuries take place, cut you down, or to rehab off an injury, or to avoid a previous injury from happening again. So all those little moves, they have to be done to save you. And it is a constant thing because as your body evolves, your positioning has to evolve. And then a lot of times as your weight is not your personal weight, but as the weight you're lifting increases, sometimes that pressure becomes too much on a certain body part. And so then you need to transfer that to somewhere that can handle that change. And it just takes time to build it. You have to fire, that muscle has to fire, correctly. It has to fire on time. And then your supporting muscles have to kick in and play their role in that as well.
Mm-hmm. So even like switching that handstance, you're supporting staff. So like going from, a tricep dominant bench to a chest dominant bench, your chest is going to become the main mover, and then your triceps are going to kind of take not a back seat because your triceps obviously are going to be a main mover, but the dominance is definitely going to switch. Same thing with squats. Going from a narrow to a wide, you go from a quad dominant squatter to a hamstring, hip flexor, glute, and slightly lower back squatter. And then, I mean, if you're going to make the switch from sumo to conventional, that's a whole other story. But, going from that hamstring, glute, lower back in the conventional pull to a quad adductor and glute pull, So I think one of the biggest things that cracks me up is people that have this like stigma that, conventional is better than sumo or blah, blah, blah. If you've never pulled sumo, try pulling your top set of your conventional pull with sumo. I guarantee you, your setup's going to look like shit. Your pull's going to look like crap. And you're going to hurt your adductor because you're not used to opening up and pirouetting down to the bar like that. I've said it before, and I'll say it multiple times. It is so much easier to teach someone conventional than it is sumo. To me, there's a lot more technical shit that goes into the actual sumo pull.
Well, and there's a lot more adjustments that can be made because there's the width of the sumo stance, there's the hand placement, and then you have to, like you said, you have to teach, you have to get the hips to activate properly, and some of your primary moving muscles in a sumo deadlift are not ones that you normally use. So if you're a conventional puller and you just go out to a sumo, guess what? The interior of your legs is going to be fucking crying because it hurts.
So that's why I'm confused on why I don't pull sumo, because I feel like it would complement my squat a little bit more, but it's just, I don't know.
I'll do, there's a lot of times I'll do some sets of sumo at a lighter weight. Just because I like just from my bodybuilding years, I like to work everything.
Yeah, totally.
I don't want anything overly dominant over something else. So I'm gonna jump in. I'll do a couple sets at 315, with some sumo pulls, and that way I get that work on the interior of my legs, and kind of just get a little extra. Extra.
Well, I mean, it's all gonna help out. Like if you're two things. One, if you're gonna be coaching somebody, you better know how to pull fucking both proficiently.
Right.
And secondly, from a lifting standpoint, you better know how to pull both, because if you're going into this is one of the most important, one of the biggest things that I picked up from Dave Tate was, if you don't have a plan B, let's say squats and bench are making your lower back cramp up like a motherfucker and you're toasted, and you generally pull conventional, you better know how to pull sumo so you can at least finish the day off, or hit a sumo PR, or even get close to what you were trying to pull. Because there's trying to just have a plan B so you know how to do both. There's no point in playing this fucking garbage game of, conventional is better and blah, blah, blah. It's if you don't have a plan B, because something generally always happens when you're competing that day. Something's going to happen. So if you're not ready to have a backup plan, good luck finishing the meet with your bum ass leg or your bum ass lower back.
Yeah, I don't, and it's funny. I mean, believe me, we'll make fun of sumo, lifters all the time, but it's all in good fun. Anyone who can pull sumo heavy is, I have as much respect for as someone who pulls conventional. And we've talked about it before. There are ways that people cheat the system when when you go extra wide when you don't need to, just so that your range of motion is less. Same thing on bench, the super arch with the wide grip. I mean, yeah, it's legal, but come on. I mean, you're really
at that point you're milking the rules, and you're really exploiting things that should be exploited. That's why at that last 605, it was dope that the meet director said, if you have to turn your toe angles in when the bar is coming down, we're not accepting your deadlift. And I think that should be across the platform for every meet, period.
Yeah. If you're afraid of getting smashed, or if you have to, if someone has to, or you clip your hands on your bench press because you're out so wide.
Yeah.
I mean, that's too wide, especially when you're 120 pound, female that's 5'2", your hand grip doesn't need to be out at the post. No. I mean, then you're just playing that range of motion game, and that is kind of that part's on the cheating. But overall, I've never had a problem with someone pulling sumo. I don't see anything wrong with it.
Well, if you look at a lot of guys that are pulling that way anyway, their distance traveled is just about the same because their fucking legs are so long.
Yeah.
So at that point, if you want to give someone shit for a short range of motion, like if that, it's going to be maybe 15% different, maybe. So yeah,
but like you said, they're also working a weaker part of what is normally a weaker part of the leg.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, like when I pull sumo and conventional, like my distance traveled isn't much different by maybe 3-4 inches, if that.
Yeah.
So there's not much of a difference, but I mean, the super arched out hands all the way to the end benching when you're already this fucking tall and your arms are this long, and pulling the super sumo just to get a better total. That's exploiting a system that needs to be changed for sure.
Right.
I mean, pull sumo, bench however you want, but like, just know there's always going to be an asterisk next to your fucking total.
Yeah. We see you. We see you out there. We see what you're doing.
Motherfuckers.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is now that time for white lights, red lights. This time is going to be a super easy going through, I think. Well, I think anyway. So for those that aren't aware of what the white lights, red lights means, would you please explain?
Yes. So one of the best things about hitting your numbers is getting an official judge, or 3 of them, or at least 2 of them, to recognize your lift as being fantastic. So in order to have a fantastic lift, you got to have at least 2 white lights. 2 meaning it was a little sloppy. One of the judges disagreed with how the movement went, but who cares? There's still 2 other judges that love it. Or you hit 3 white lights, and every single judge thought you just did fantastic, which is always nice. Or you give it your all, come a little bit short, and you get 2 reds, or unfortunately 3, which is a failing score in the realm of powerlifting, which is a bummer. But you know what? Sometimes it's kind of nice to watch someone put it all out on the line. They're bleeding out of their face, and sometimes they don't get it because you know that shit's gonna fuel training block for that next meet.
They left it all out there.
Like you can feel it in
on the platform.
Yeah.
Deep in the loins. So as we go through, I have 4 items here. 3 white lights, as Alkai said, is fantastic. Yes. 2 white lights is fantastic enough. And anything less is less than fantastic.
Chase.
All right. So we're going to get your perspective, Alkai, on big boobs.
Real or fake?
I don't care. Do you have a preference in between the 2? Apparently.
I mean, big fake tits look weird, you know. Big boobs. I'll give it. Make big boobs. Yeah, 3 white lights. Sure, why not?
Okay. I mean, there is too much of a good thing. That's for sure. There can be.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then the opposite end of the spectrum.
Yes.
Small boobs.
I mean, 3 white lights. Like
there we go.
I'm a happy guy. I'm easy to please.
All right, now this one may throw you a little bit.
Okay.
Man boobs.
3 reds.
I have them, but I'm not a big fan.
I hate them. And seeing them on other dudes, sometimes I chuckle. So I'm like, I'll give that 2 reds and 1 white. The 1 white being from like
an entertainment standpoint.
Yeah, an entertainment standpoint.
I have seen some dudes with some pretty voluptuous knockers. That's for sure.
Yeah. Love that.
All right, last one is super easy. A big old fat booty.
See, as I've grown older, Craig, I appreciate shape more than size now.
Okay, so how
You see
about
what I'm
this?
saying?
So I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah, because
So
big can be
a
cool,
nice,
but
a
big can
nice.
also be like,
Well, yeah, I'm not talking like big fat, like just saggy ass. So let's redo this and say a nice firm booty.
oh, 3 whites all day. I,
That's easy.
I, that combo of like that athletic look of like little boobs, good legs, nice butt. Love it. Sign me up.
And you know who has the firmest, like round booty?
Oh man, Sam's got a nice keister.
About, I think you're forgetting about Jordan.
And Jordan, yes. I'm sorry, I blocked out Jordan. He doesn't talk to me anymore. So
I know he's on your poo-poo list.
Jordan's got a nice ass, though. I'll give him that.
He has a butt that most women are jealous of.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yes.
he's got a trunk on him for sure.
Mm-hmm. So hopefully, as this slow weight cut journey comes along, my love handles will disappear and my butt will start popping out more.
There you go. Get a nice little. Then you can join TikTok fame.
Toit.
All right. So like I said, nice, easy. White lights, red lights.
Super
Let's go
easy.
around.
Yeah.
Apparently, you can tell where my head was at when I was thinking about it.
Yes.
It was Anyway,
just guy stuff. You know?
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Normal. It's not just guy stuff. I hear more girls talk about this than anything.
Oh, that's fair. That's very fair.
Anyway, so as we talked about before, my name is Craig Bird. This is Alkai Allen over here. I am coming to you from Monument Fitness. At monument.fitness is where you can get a hold of us.
Mm-hmm.
Alkai is coming to you from a room unknown in the area of the San Diego, California. You can get a hold of the show by searching or going to lifting _ ugly, searching lifting ugly or lift ugly, and you will come across us wherever you might be.
Mm-hmm.
Alkai here has multiple places to get a hold of him. At Pico _ powerlifting is his secondary account for when he gets banned again. And his primary account is at bellies _ out _ benching. The theme being power bellies.
Power bellies and why they're important.
And if Seth is still on, I did see Seth's benching videos, and Seth has got a pretty nice power belly.
He's got a pretty sweet tum-tum.
Yeah.
Like, I love it.
He's
I want to belly bump Seth really bad.
In time, my friend.
Mm-hmm.
In time.
Mm-hmm. In due time.
If you want to be a monthly supporter of the show, you can do so at patreon.com/liftingugly and be a monthly subscriber. It is appreciated. You can also buy the coolest of cool things from our store at liftingugly.com. Hats, shirts, flags, all that kind of stuff. You can get there. You can also get the new Lifting Ugly tank top. What would Jack Jesus do? Or, as Alkai said, depending on how you want to do it, what would Juice Jesus do?
Dude, what would he do?
As soon as this show is over, that will be available on the website. And before we leave, I just got confirmation Gabby will be on with us next week.
Nice.
So
well, shouts out to the Australian Oaktress.
Yes. So everyone out there, make sure you check us out next week, as we will have Gabby, the Austrian Oaktress. 2020, 2021, America's Strongest Woman.
Love that.
A beast among beasts.
Mm-hmm.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us today. We had a lot of fun. I hope you had fun too.
I had a great time.
Oh, well, that's good. So did I. Lots of fun. And we're out of here.
Bye.
Oh, flat lip, belly tune up. Yeah. I pay my dues, refuse to lose, so fuck the blues. Ain't your bad news, you can trip if you choose. While I sip booze on a 7-day cruise in Louis Vuitton shoes with floozies by the tubes. The good life, talking about the good life. Live it up for a little while, then go to the hood to get a good wife and settle down. But for now, I'm studying down, refuse to allow myself to live foul like when